Howdy, good morning. Welcome to my second video of doing chores in the early morning. This one is at 4:50. Alright, might as well talk on this one. Thank you. Please subscribe. Garbage I picked up. So as I was editing the video, number one, battery went low, so I'm plugged in. I'm plugged into the matrix. This is not based reality. I wonder what YouTube will do when Jimmy reaches half a bill in subs. Okay, so we gotta take the lint thing. We don't live in a community that shares dryers. If you do, the rule of thumb in a community shared dryer is that you have to clean your own lint after you use the dryer. But since this is not a community dryer, this is a single family dryer, nobody really does that. And I really don't mind because I'm already used to cleaning. I got a daughter and a wife. I gotta learn about sanitary pads. I gotta see little girls' underwears, or the growth actually. She's grown so much. The other day, when she was laying in bed, I put my hand on her side like this. I'm like, honey, I remember when you were like this big. And now she's becoming a young lady. I told her today that I'm proud of you, but don't let that get to your head, because every day determines who you are. That's why, let's say if you want to become Muslim, right? You don't just go to the mosque one time and pray. No, you have to possibly go weekly. You have to say prayer at least once a day. They don't have to say it 5 times from what I understand. It's just those are the 5 times when they're designated to pray. You can choose to do it just one of those times, or do it all the times, I would imagine. I believe they have a prayer mat and they're supposed to be facing towards Mecca when they pray, if I'm not mistaken. I had a friend who got me in trouble, and I think that's one of the reasons I can't get work, because he got me in trouble and the charge was dealing in stolen property. I was dumb, wrong place, wrong time. I make stupid mistakes. He's Puerto Rican. He wanted to pawn some things he said he got from his mom. One of them was like a Puerto Rican charm. So I thought, okay, I guess his mom's being nice to him. And the jewelry looked all messed up. It looked like, when it gets not damaged, but like you can't even undo it or whatever. So he asked me for a ride to the La Casa de Empeño, where you go give them goods and they give you a loan with a super high interest rate. It's very popular amongst the poverty stricken, just like dollar stores. And also like cash advance places, or places where they cash checks. Because where there's poverty, people really can't really afford to bank. Because banking actually costs money. It costs money for you to give your money to a place for them to hold it. Now, they incentivize you to open special accounts, like a certificate deposit or whatever it's called, or I forget, a CD, because it yields more interest. But unless you got millions of dollars, your interest is not going to be much of anything. It's all a big scam. But it's everything, in my opinion, that makes this life a rat race. It's a scam. And it's okay. A lot of people have it instilled in their heads. You have to work, you have to work, you have to work. And it's true. You have to have purpose, because without purpose, you tend to be you just you're just there. You feel depressed, you don't feel fulfilled. And I realized that working. All right, so for the dryer, clean out the linen cycle, put all the clothes in there. You just hold this button down, and then you just leave it as is. This is just to remind you to check the linen screen, which we did. And then this button, you got to hold it down for about 1.5 seconds. All right, that's the default timer. We'll hear it when it goes on. I should sweep this area, the mop, that they come out good. I was actually sitting here while I was editing the video. I was just doing narrations with my headphones on. I'm gonna make 2 different videos. I'll make one for 3 a.m. and one for 4 a.m. I prefer to do chores when everybody's asleep, because I don't get interrupted as easily. Whenever I try to do a chore and people are awake, I'm always being asked, David, I need you for this, or David, can you do this? And it gets to the point where I have to tell somebody, I'm busy right now, give me a minute, I'll be right with you. Because you can't be everywhere at once. And even if you could clone yourself, you know, what would that be like? Maybe I should learn how to speak Korean to see how human cloning trials are going, because I'm pretty sure they've already done it, if they clone dogs already. But either way, so now the dryer's going, the dishwasher's still going, and I was editing the other video. I decided to do narration on it. This video, maybe I'll stop recording right now and then add a second part when I take out the clothes and I fold it, so I can show you guys my method if I haven't done a video like that already. Pretty simple. I clear out the love seat and I start folding it there. Now, if I do laundry during the day, I might sing. If I do laundry without recording, making a YouTube video, I might listen to music, or just any chore for that matter. Music is probably, well, both are equally as good, because I like to sing. But what I told my wifey is that that's personal, so I'm not going to talk about it, but it just has to do with quality time. All right, so leave you guys at this. Have a wonderful Saturday morning. Peace and love. Please subscribe. Get a free cookie. And if you don't like my content, then subscribe to Mr. Beast. Okay, I need to get this off my chest. In regards to the charge that I received, which is the reason why I believe I cannot get a job as simple as being a cashier in a supermarket, which is something that I did when I was like 15 years old. That was the first job I ever got. Well, I started as a bagger. The reason why I can't do that now is because I was not well informed by the lawyer which we hired on how that would impact me in the future by taking a no plea contest. And the only reason I took a no plea contest instead of taking it to trial, because they did not have a case. There was no victim. The victim was a mutual friend of my buddy that got me in trouble and mine. So when he came by after his stuff was stolen, I had no idea it was his stuff. And I told him first thing, I'm like, hey, I'm taking Jesus to the pawn shop. His mom just hooked him up with a bunch of stuff, so he came up. He's got a computer and he's got this. So I pretty much like told him like, hey, your stuff is here and was stolen, but without knowing. So he knew right away that I had no idea. And we kind of settled it on the streets. I met him in the middle of Miami Gardens Drive down in what used to be called Carroll City. I think now they call it Miami Gardens to try to change their image. And I confronted him, and I thought he was gonna like physically hurt me. I was scared, but no, he just said, you know what, don't worry about it. And then after that, I'm pretty sure he didn't want anything to do with the state, because who wants anything to do with law, with liars? Okay, all they do, they practice law, which is an art form. All right, the fact that people pass judgment, our creator made us that way, because our creator is also involved in the economy. I know that sounds weird, but when you come to think of it, the sun, which is the most massive object in our solar system, our little corner of space, and it has, I cannot tell you how humongous it is and how much it has an effect on the fabric of space, and I'm assuming time too, because the revolutions around it affect the way time works, because if you're in a different planet, whatever. Nonetheless, because I live in a suburbia neighborhood that is car centric, I did not have a car. I had to be chauffeured to the downtown area of this county every single time there was a court date. And I felt terrible for mom and dad to have to chauffeur because I think I was an adult at the time, their adult son for a case for something so stupid. And the attorney's the attorney general, which is the attorney that tries to prosecute cases, even when there was no victim, and they knew that. My lawyer knew that. So what did they do? So that they could close it out and still have me as a convicted felon, they offered me something called administrative probation for 1 day. So I had probation for 1 day because it was administrative. All that meant was that for 24 hours I could not get in trouble, and I had to just go to the probation office, which is located in, I believe it's called Lauderdale Lakes, and I had to sign my name. Now, by this time, we had made so many trips to the courthouse that I felt horrible to make my parents make another trip when I should have taken the fucking thing to court. My livelihood ever since has deteriorated like unbelievably so, but that's okay, because what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So, but I feel like if these lawyers want to be creative, somebody ought to do a pro bono case so that I can file a lawsuit against the counsel that I had in the past, because they damaged my livelihood, and I should sue them for the amount of money that I've lost because of the fact that when you check under my record, there is a felony charge that says that I was involved in dealing with stolen property, when in fact I had zero clue. I should have known better, but I'm a fool. I'm not afraid to admit it. But does being a fool mean that someone should lose their livelihood? No. There's a difference between being a fool and being malicious on purpose. I was not trying to be malicious. I was not trying to offend anyone. If I had known that that was stolen, I would have just walked out, because I don't believe in stealing from your neighbor, okay? That's something that I detest, just like lying. So, yeah, that got me upset. If any lawyer hears this, even if it's you, legal eagle, even though you got plenty of things on your plate, and wants to take this case pro bono, I don't know if the lawyer is still active for the bar in the state of Florida, but if you feel there's a case there that they did not give me proper counsel, and they ruined my livelihood for the past almost 20 years, then and I should file a lawsuit for all of the earnings that I could have made, because I've been applying for jobs. I started applying exactly a year after my date of recovery, because that's what they tell us to do in the meetings, and I have it in my emails, and I've only gotten one interview, and the only reason I got interviewed was because the store where I went to, I was friends with the store manager that got fired from there because he was an active addict. Yes, addiction knows no discrimination. And to Mr. Fratina, who still works with the company, if you're upset at me saying this, then give me a fucking job at store number 1570. Tell Mr. Samuel to hire me right away. My good friend, Roberta Lehman, I believe her last name is, she just retired. Give me her position, or let me work in the front desk. Gee, damn it. I'll work for minimum wage. I don't care. Even though I was told by another employee, Paul does not get paid minimum. He gets paid more. But Paul himself told me, I'm talking about Black Paul, he told me that he gets paid minimum. And I don't see why he would lie. And the reason why I could tell is either because he has an expression on his face, he barely smiles, and he doesn't seem too content. And when someone's not content at their job, it's either because they don't like what they're doing, or they're not being appreciated in the proper manner. And what's the proper way to appreciate an employee? Pay them with a wage where they can maintain a livelihood that is somewhat on par with the consensus. You know how embarrassing it is for a corporation owned by the Waltons that their employees have to file for subsidies and welfare? And this is the best country on earth? Get the fuck out of my face with that shit, okay? Country is for the rich, and the rich only. The bottom 80% of people, because you do have some 19% that are middle class, let's say, okay? Those are the people that are master's graduates, or they got some kind of career, and even people that make six figures now because of the way Trump destroyed this country. I don't care if people are going to hate me on this. Go ahead and hate. Whatever comment you leave, it's just going to be your cult program mind. You have no way of having a debate, because there is no debate when your politics are your beliefs. There is nothing to debate. You believe what you believe, and that's what the people who follow Trump are. They are being led by a cult leader who, I don't know. I don't know what the future is going to bring, but if we die because of Trump, well, that's chaos. That's life. Everything that lives comes to an end. So praise the Almighty, and we got to put love first, even before ourselves and our lives. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. And if you enjoyed anything that I said, please subscribe. If you hated it, please subscribe. And if you leave a comment, I try to respond to every single comment. And thank you very much. You are a legend if you made it till now. Thank you. Okay, I'm still making this video and editing. I'm showing off the different t-shirts that I have, which I like because you can't really go to the store and buy them. This one right here is from Nova Southeastern University, which is where the most beautiful lady in this world got her doctorate degree. I don't have a current picture, but this was her when she was in elementary school. She is the most beautiful and the most intelligent lady ever to live. Philip Ganchi is a, I'm not going to say he's lucky. He deserves it. He's a very decent gentleman. But bless them both. Bless their families. And also my sister Alexandra. She's awesome. Both of my sisters are awesome. I know that they help me out even though they don't talk to me. And the only reason I know is because I know that they have good hearts. And even if it's just a phone call, like I said, I would just, it means the world. Anyways, I'm talking. Let me see what I say here. My dad has two daughters that I know he's proud of. So now it's my turn. And like they tell us in the meetings, it's never too late. So and like the scripture says, with love, all things are possible. So Mariah, if you ever see this, remember that, honey. With love, all things are possible. I'm going to repeat that a little louder into the microphone. With love, all things are possible. And that is the word. We're enjoying beautiful South Florida. Next thing you know, the winds from the Gulf could bring fallout from heaven knows where. Next thing you know, we're all getting cancer from high levels of radiation, and we weren't even hit. That's the problem with weapons that utilize the energy of that use a strong nuclear force. They affect with both the fusion or fission of the strong nuclear force, and then they affect with the decay. Like this was one of his last years when the team wasn't doing all that great before he went to Paris Saint-Germain. See, Messi, he's a team player. You see someone like Messi, he goes to Paris, where they make some of the best footballers in the world, and he takes the number 30. And Messi's the best, without a doubt. Don't get me wrong, that young kid that reminds me of Pele, not Dembele, what's his name? I forget his name, but I think he's black. I don't know what country his parents are from, but he's of African descent. Mbappe reminds me of Pele, except Pele had that capoeira flair. I think that was when Brazilian soccer just had it made. You know how they say it's the beautiful game. I think in part that's due because of this country right here. Because the thing is, the natives from that country, they learned a self-defense style called capoeira, which is almost like movements where you extend the limbs of your body, like your legs, like in ways that it almost looks like you're dancing. So the footballers, they would practice that too, because normally, if you're an athlete, you're just like to all around be athletic. So if I'm not mistaken, like some of their moves were actually, if not inspired, they have some type of you know, movements associated with the art of capoeira. And it's beautiful to watch. Neymar, yeah, he's the most recognizable face if you were born in the 2000s. And yes, he can catch a ball from like 100 feet in the air, like with his feet, no problem. But I don't know. I if Thiago is wants to take, be a footballer, I know Messi. I see him to be a good dad. And if he's a good dad, he would be like Carles Puyol dad. He would tell his son, I just want you to try your very, very best. I don't care if they're all better than you. You just try your best and the hardest that you can. And as long as you do that, you can come home as my son and I'll be proud of you. But if I find out that you didn't give it your all and you didn't try your best, you don't come home. And that's what Carlos did. And sure enough, every day they kept telling him, come back. They didn't want him at first because they see this person without a haircut, whatever. And La Masia had a lot of talent. They had Luis Enrique was playing back then. That was when that pretty boy that had children with Shakira was around. Xavi Hernandez, Andres Iniesta. I don't know that many people, but so yeah, close this folder. I'm gonna finish the video here. I'll just show you, since I didn't show you guys my sock drawer, I only show you my underwear drawer. Let's take a look at the sock drawer to complete this video. I don't like folding socks together. I just keep them together like this, because the second that you kind of fold them together, it loses its elasticity. But if you keep your drawer neat enough, you shouldn't have a problem finding pairs. So this is my sock drawer. So I just throw them right there like that. And most socks, I already, I know what pair they're like. See? Pair, 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 pair. And then the top part does not lose any elasticity. We'll take another peek in my underwear drawer. Why not? By the way, people, I don't know if my rant is still going on now. If it is, I'm going to quiet this and I'm not going to talk, because I spoke from the heart. I did truly receive bad counsel sometime in the mid-2000s. And the reason why was because if I had just stuck it out, I just told my parents, okay, mom, dad, I'm so sorry. We'll just come back. Or I might have not even come back. I could have just said, no, I'm not guilty. And they could have just told the judge, sir, the state would like to dismiss the case because we don't have a victim. Something to that extent. It could have just been that. But I didn't get proper counsel. He's a lawyer. He should know these things. If you're a lawyer, would you hire somebody that has it on their record that they were associated with some type of theft, even if they didn't do it themselves? Nobody wants to be around somebody that knows somebody that stole something or whatever, or helped them out. I helped my buddy out, and then I end up getting arrested for it, which in a way it was a blessing in disguise, because now I live by my grandmother's words. Amigo, no hay amigo. Tu único amigo, I'll leave those there because this is kind of full. Tu único amigo es un billete en tu bolsillo. And with that, I just have to say thanks. And please subscribe. Ciao. Good morning, my fellow viewers. I just got a word from the latest update from the Trump campaign. Donald J. Trump is going to release all American citizens and naturals that are detained in correctional facilities as soon as he takes office. And in their place, he's going to place all illegal aliens or immigrants. No, it doesn't matter age, race, or color. If they're not natural citizens, shit, he might even take some people that became citizens. Who knows? But we promise you, he's going to make America better.